if you've seen my Instagram, then you've seen me post a lot of stories and a lot of reels on the foods that I eat. And sometimes, like recently, I posted a video of me going to an all-you-can-eat sushi place, and just in the span of an hour and a half, I ate around 3,000 calories. And presumably, I'm doing that while losing weight. So how does that work, right? So, because if my maintenance is like around 2,900 or 3,000, then how am I eating at maintenance or potentially above maintenance, since that 3,000 was just like one meal of the day, right? So how am I presumably losing weight while still doing that? And so it all goes back to the principle of like calories in versus calories out, which we all know. But I think one thing that people also tend to neglect is that you shouldn't measure weight loss or fat loss on the basis of day to day, but I like to actually measure it in terms of every week. So I tend to group every week as a single block. So Monday to Sunday is just one block, and I calculate the net calorie difference across the whole week instead of one day. That's because let's say you were sticking to your calorie deficit of 2,500, right? You're eating 2,500 calories while your maintenance is 3,000. That means on a day-to-day basis, you're around a 500 calorie deficit, which is good. If you do that every single day of the week, then you've lost a pound of fat because of 3,500 calories, right? Assuming there's no muscle loss, especially if you're training hard, it should be minimal muscle loss and mostly fat loss. Cool, but let's say on a Saturday, right? You're on the weekend, you're a bit more relaxed, you don't have food prepared, and so you're thinking about what food to eat, and then you accidentally let yourself go and ate extra 1,000 calories. So instead of eating 2,500, you ate 3,500, so 500 above your maintenance. If you're just judging on a day-to-day basis, then you would say, oh damn bro, like I gained weight, bro, like I gained fat, right, yesterday or something, right? And so what a lot of people tend to do is then on the Sunday, the day after, they'll tend to cut a lot of calories, do extra cardio, fatigue themselves to make up for yesterday. And then guess what? Sure, it works on the Sunday. You made up for the 500 extra calories or 1,000 extra calories that you ate. But then the next few days, you're going to be more tired, more fatigued, also more prone to binge eat, do the same thing, and lose all the progress. And then you burn out faster, you get more diet fatigue, and you just hop off the diet fully, right? So instead of losing like a half a pound a week because you messed up on one of the days, now you're actually not losing any fat because you've stopped the diet. You might be even probably gaining the weight because you're just binge eating now since you have no diet anymore, right? Whereas I tend to, and again, this is mistakes I've all done before. That's why I'm bringing up these examples, because I used to do that to myself. I used to mess up one day, sometimes even if I'm like 200 calories above my calorie goals for that day, I'd just just ruin my next day. Just do like 3 hours of cardio, eat like 500 or 1,000 calories, just starve myself just to see the weight go down again, right? And so yeah, even with the scale, looking at it on a day-to-day basis is not accurate. Your body weight or your body water fluctuations just by themselves are probably like plus or minus 2 pounds. So you have a range of 4 pounds at the same fat fat number. If you had the same amount of fat, your scale weight can still fluctuate around like 4 to 5 pounds, just because you hold different water amounts in your body every single day. But now, after learning from my mistakes and actually taking a smarter approach, I look at my weight as well as like my calorie deficit on the span of a week to week basis. And so from Monday to Friday, right? If I'm at a 3,000 calorie deficit or 3,500 calorie deficit, then it doesn't matter if my calories were not the same every single day. I can actually use it to my advantage to have things like cheat meals and still being in a calorie deficit. And so let's say my maintenance was 3,000 calories and I'm trying to be in an overall 3,500 calorie deficit for the whole week. And so if I was to keep all my calories every single day the same, then my calories would be 2,500 every single day to register a 500 calorie deficit every single day. But what I started doing recently is lowering my calories even more on weekdays and increasing them on weekends. And so let's say I decreased my weekday calories by an extra 250 calories. Let's just say that. Or let's say 200 calories. So instead of eating 2,500 from Monday to Friday, I'll eat 2,300, right? So I'm going to be a bit more hungry during the week. But what does that do, right? From Monday to Friday, an extra 200 calorie deficit makes it so that I've lost, or I've been in an extra 1,000 calorie deficit throughout the week, right? Because 5 days times an extra 200 calories. So now what I can do, since I have 1,000 calories on Saturday and Sunday, I can add 500 calories on both of those days. So then my Saturday and my Sunday can go from 2,500 to 3,000 calories. I'm basically eating at maintenance on the weekend, because on the weekend I'm home more, I'm around the kitchen more, so I'm gonna like psychologically just be more hungry because I'm looking at food more. Whereas on a Monday, I'm pretty much out of the day the whole day. So I'm not even gonna have time to be hungry and thinking about food pretty much the whole day, right? So even though I'm at a deficit, I can still like just get by without having too much trouble. But on a Saturday, I tend to have a lot more trouble because I'm just home more. I'm around food more, right? I'm sitting down a lot more. So my body's gonna give me more hunger signals that I can't really avoid. And so I bring it up to 3,000 calories on Saturday and Sunday. That way I can actually have more variety in my diet. I can like kind of enjoy some of the foods that I like and still eat healthy. And I'm just gonna replenish my carbs, my glycogen in my muscles, so that when I start the week on Monday, I'm gonna have a lot more energy through carbs to actually put into my workouts, have good workouts, maybe even increase in strength, right? And so if you're doing fine whilst keeping the calories every single day the same, keep doing that. Don't fix what's not broken. But if you're like me and you tend to have a lot more cravings on the weekends, then doing a bunch or some refeeds throughout the week might actually be helpful, because it's going to decrease diet fatigue. It's going to also make you more replenished for the upcoming week in terms of workouts and just overall baseline energy, right? And so I'm still at the same calorie deficit for the entire week. Now keep in mind, since I'm going to maintenance on the weekend, then the scale weight is not going to reflect that. It's going to show that I've gained weight, and it's mostly or fully going to be water weight, right? Because I'm eating at maintenance, there's no way I'm gaining fat, right? Unless I've really misjudged my maintenance calories, which if you track over a long enough period of time, you'll know exactly where your maintenance is sitting. Like, of like a range of like 100 calories, you'll know exactly where your maintenance is. But just use an app for now, like MyFitnessPal or MacroFactor, or just go to Google, get a calorie estimate, and just start like eating at that to figure out if your weight is changing. Basically, the whole point of this video is that look at your weight loss as well as your calorie deficit over a week basis instead of a day-to-day basis. That way you can actually fluctuate and eat more calories on a single day if you need it, and then you can make up for that, but just by decreasing it for the entire of the week. Let's say you want to eat extra 500 calories on a Saturday, it would just mean you decrease Monday to Friday by 100 calories each, and you still stay at the same deficit. And so that's exactly what I've been doing, just eating more on a Saturday and Sunday to just allow myself to like not have to resist food as much, and also just to make most of those extra calories in carbs and fats to bring my mood up, bring my energy up, so that I can have great workouts at the start of the next week. And so if that sounded helpful and you wanted to learn more on how to lose weight while still staying healthy, then just click the first link in my description. It's my course that teaches you to do exactly all of that, and I'll see you there.